Here we are in Brooklyn, downtown Brooklyn. I want to tell you, you're looking at history. This building, not right now, I just panned over to it. Well, this is how downtown Brooklyn looks like now. Rebuilt. Hotels, commercial buildings. But this building right in front of you is a piece of history. We're looking down the street there. Again, building right in front of you, 227 Duffield Street. Back then, Brooklyn was an active hub of abolitionism before the Civil War. Slavery was outlawed in New York in 1827, and Brooklyn's waterfront trade with the southern states, it made it a convenient stop for escaped slaves who could come by boat and travel along stops of the Underground Railroad, like nearby Plymouth Church. Some would remain in Brooklyn and others continued north. Because of the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, which criminalized helping an escaped slave, abolitionist activities at the time were still largely done in secret. But stories about the Underground Railroad activity in houses and tunnels under Duffield Street between Fulton and Willoughby were passed down orally in the community. This house right here, Duffield Street, on Duffield Street, was the home of Harriet Truesdell and Thomas Truesdell. They were active abolitionists in New England before moving right here to Duffield Street. Harriet Truesdell was actually the organizer of the Anti-Slavery Convention of American Women in Philadelphia in 1838. Thomas Truesdell was a founding member of the Rhode Island Anti-Slavery Society. The belief is that, based on artifacts found in the basement, proximity to other stops like the Bridge Street African Methodist Episcopal Church and Plymouth Church, and a doorway sealed arch in the basement which led to a tunnel underneath the building. So this home is theorized to be part of the Underground Railroad, where slaves would be escaped slaves were helped, hidden, and led to freedom based through the Underground Railroad. Now, this claim hasn't been it hasn't been verified because possibly of the secretive nature of the activity, which was intentionally not well documented back then. So in 1933, in this house, owners built an addition to the first two floors, adding a storefront, while the original facade remains visible on the third floor. On the third floor, you would see the original facade. Again, a house that was threatened to be demolished. That way, probably, they could build another hotel, because God knows New York City needs another hotel. It was saved, actually, because of the historic relevance of this building. Duffield Street, they also called it Abolitionist Place at the time. I've I've said this in videos, many of videos prior. You never know your history. You know, like, I wonder, like, you never know what you're in front of. It's amazing, especially in New York. Like, so many people drive by this building and no one knows that it was part of the Underground Railroad. Amazing. Just like if you're not even familiar with the Underground Railroad, think of it like being a network of like secret routes and safe houses. And this traveled word of mouth. This route, because there were various routes, this route would have led them to Canada. Various other routes on the Underground Railroad, led to Mexico, where slavery had been abolished, and to the islands in the Caribbean that weren't part of the slave trade. This home actually stayed in the home of the Truesdells, I believe, till early 1927. I believe, don't quote me on this, but it's been a lot of protests if you're from New York City to try to save this house, and thankfully it was saved.
They will be protected and
As well.
celebrated for a very long time to come.
Activists say the tunnels in the basement connecting neighboring buildings led them to believe it was also a stop along the Underground Railroad.